Welcome. I'm Christy. Let's take a breath. Let's just start to settle into where you are, whether you're seated or you're lying down here. Trying to get a little bit comfortable, so I was noticing my shirt. It's not quite comfortable, so there may be just little adjustments like that, or how you're positioned, or maybe something's a little bit tight and stuck and you need to move it around for a moment. And then feel the sensations of the breath. And allow your breath to be however you need it to be in this moment. So for me, a lot of times, right as I'm getting ready to set up here, and then once I sit down, then I feel like I need that deep breath, just coming into this moment, into this space where we're practicing today. Feel your body expanding and contracting. And observe if there's some tension in your eyes that you can soften. A bit of tension in the jaw that you can let go of. Feel your body supported by the floor. Just observing the points of the body that are in contact with the floor. And observe any sounds in the room. Sounds beyond the room you're in. And take note of exactly where you are. Where are you in the room? What's around you? Where are you in the building? Try to make a conscious note. Now you're in a safe and secure space. And that you have control over how you practice, how you're moving your body, and how you're taking care of yourself. You have control over that. Just going to start to shift the body a little bit. So just trying to bend the spine a little bit, letting your head drop to the right, but kind of pushing your spine over to the left. So like a little gentle sort of wiggling here, and then pushing your spine over to the right, or maybe it's like your shoulders are going to the right, but your head's going to the left. And breathing. Observe how it feels. Just start to move your neck, your spine. Just witnessing, where are you feeling this? So I can feel this down into my low back and into my hips. And so maybe you're feeling that, maybe you're not feeling anything at all. So some people don't really have conscious sensation in the body, and that's fine. We're going to breathe out. But you just want to witness, what are you feeling? So especially I think if you're not feeling a lot of sensation in the body, you think that sort of demands a little more caution in how you're moving. Because if you're having pain sensations, that really helps you to determine how far you should go a bit. But if you're not having any sensations of discomfort and pain, and you're not really feeling sensation in the body, which is very common, then you just want to be a little bit more cautious about how you're moving and just really witnessing, maybe looking at how you're placing your body. Let's bring the arms up overhead. So we're going to try to stretch the spine up, reach your arms out, and then bring your arms up. So again, maybe you're going to, if you're not feeling sensation, maybe you're going to look to see where your arms are and just witness where your arms and your hands are. And then let the hands come down behind you, so you can't really see them there, but just take your hands behind you. And so we're going to try to interlace the fingers behind the back. Pull hands down towards the floor. Again, lengthening up the spine. Big full breath. And then we're going to let that chin drop down towards the chest. Hands just dropping down towards the floor. And then we're going to let the head come back up. Release the hands, bring arms up overhead. So again, maybe looking up, witnessing where your hands are going, where are your arms. And then we're going to try to grab hold of the right wrist and bend a little bit to the left side. So again, we're bending the spine. So as we hold on to this right shoulder, we're getting a little more stretch through that shoulder blade area, the right shoulder blade area. Take a couple of breaths. And then how's your neck? So again, if you're feeling sensation in the neck, where do you want to position your head here? All right, we're going to come back through center. So let's let the hands come down. Just going to let that blood flow back into the hands if you need it. So you can shake out your hands. You can wiggle your fingers, rotate the wrists around. And now I'm noticing how tight my wrists are. So sometimes until we move, we don't really notice these sensations. All right, we're gonna reach arms back up overhead. So again, if you need to look up and see where your hands are, look up. Hold on to your left wrist. Then we're gonna bend a little bit to the right side. So just exploring, how does it feel to bend to this right side? So again, at any point that you feel like you're not in a good spot, you can just relax and let go and change your position. You have control over how you're positioning your body, how long you're gonna stay there. And then we're going to come back through center. Then we're going to release the hands, let them come on down. We're going to shake them out again. So much of life, we're taught to conform, which isn't really always healthy for us, to just do what somebody else is suggesting or telling us to do. All right, so circling your shoulders. So in yoga, right, we're trying to move back to this true self. Still haven't completely figured out what that means. But I think getting back to our authentic selves. And so when we're, trying to fit into society and, in school and in work and conforming to some kind of norm, sometimes we lose our identity and our free will. And so here in yoga, we're just going to work on practicing that. All right, just taking your elbows back, letting them come forward. And then let's start to do the arms out a little bit more. So almost as though you are like hugging a tree kind of shape, just a big circular shape. Taking your elbows back, squeezing shoulder blades back, and maybe you're going to slow that down. Just do a nice big inhale as you expand, and an exhale as your hands come back together. And then my breath always shifts, right? So now I'm exhaling as I come forward. What am I doing? Inhaling as I come forward, exhaling. I don't know. So somewhere in there, right, just watch what happens. Again, instead of like this, predictable pattern of somebody saying, oh, this is when we should inhale, this is when we should exhale. But what just happens naturally if we just move and we breathe. All right, so let's try to do arms up. Your hands touch, let them come on down. And then we're gonna inhale up and let them come on down. So again, maybe yours is gonna shift like mine does. Maybe it's gonna become an exhale as you inhale your arms up overhead. Because maybe your breath's a little longer or a little shorter. Just get that movement in. And again, just observing, how does that feel? If you're ready, let the hands stop, circle your shoulders a couple of times. You can have a sip of water. I want to do one more, I think, here. What we're going to do, palms coming in together and then this pressing out. So maybe try, right, a big just a big exhale as you're pushing out. I'm sure that sounds really annoying. All right. It's fun when you get a group of people together in the same room and you're doing that. And then how are you? All right, and letting the hands come on down. Just take a moment. Breathe. And witness how you're feeling. Did anything shift? Just really in those little arm stretches, shoulder stretches. So especially if you're kind of stuck in fight or flight, right? If you're really feeling, that kind of anxious, stressed, hyper is the word that comes to me, but that's not, that's not the best word, but I think that kind of relays, very energetic. If you're having a lot of energy, it can be very hard to sit still and get into a quiet place. So sometimes, right, this more active movement is more helpful in getting the nervous system to calm down just by doing this movement. If we really are in this, fight or flight stage where there's a lot of nervous energy, that's a better word, nervous energy, going on, to just kind of burn some of that off, right? Because our nervous systems are giving us this energy to run away from danger, but in modern life, that's not appropriate, right? It's not appropriate to just run out of a meeting that's getting you all stressed out. So when you have time to practice, just sometimes, just a simple movement like that, which you can do kind of anywhere, because it's not such a crazy movement to be doing, right? You can just burn off a little bit of energy sitting at your desk. All right. So feet out wide, let's fold forward. I'm just gonna walk it out. Long spine. So that's one of the reasons why in modern life it's very difficult to just pop down and go into meditation, because we have so much stress and our nervous systems are so overloaded that they don't really know how to calm down anymore. And so that's not, there's nothing to blame yourself for about that. That's just the reality of the nature of our bodies and the modern world. All right, we're gonna come on up, we're gonna fold over the right leg. So just leaning over your right leg, exploring how that feels. I'm noticing I've got big red marks on my feet from sitting cross-legged and having my foot pressing down into the floor. So just witness, anything that you're seeing, you're feeling. So we can get so judgmental or, thinking that there's something wrong with us or that we're not able to do things like calm down and meditate. But there's a reason why our bodies are putting out all that energy. So we just have to find different ways to adapt. Okay, we're taking it to the left leg. So being in the present moment, being mindful of how it is you're feeling and how you're going to help bring yourself back into a more regulated state of the nervous system. how you're really going to create better health and well-being in body and mind really has to do with how we are in the present moment, and then, you know, how do we try to create balance. And then we're going to bring your feet together. And so if you're in freeze mode and you're just feeling like you have no energy, so again, this is our nervous systems do these things to us to protect us. All right, butterfly pose, soles of the feet together. We're going to round the spine. So if you're in freeze mode, which may just be like illness, but again, it can be just, you know, we get so stressed and so overwhelmed that our bodies just start to go into this shutdown mode. And so then doing things that are really active are very difficult because, you know, the body has just shut down all of our energy. We're just really conserving energy to preserve life. So then it can be a little bit easier just to be still. If when I'm in that state, it's much easier for me to listen to a guided meditation and get into a quiet place. But if I'm in that more wound up fight or flight state, it's very hard for me to just sit and focus on anything. Move out. Let's see where we're going. Yeah, I'm going to do a reclining pigeon. So I'm just going to put a block underneath my head. Oh, here it is. And we're going to roll onto our backs. So if you have something to put under your head, a pillow, whatever, grab it. Stick a block underneath your head. Yoga block, a pillow, anything at all. Sometimes I just like kind of, if I have a sweater handy, I'll just kind of roll up my sweater and stick it under my head. So this way, when we bring our arms past our head, with our head elevated, a little deeper stretch into that upper back. And I just have my knees pulled in because that feels nice for me in this moment. But your feet can be down on the floor, your legs can be stretched out straight. Just take a breath. And then bring your right ankle and rest it on top of your left thigh. So you can do that starting with feet on the floor. Bring that right ankle up. If you're going to let your legs drop today, let them drop over to your left side. If you're going to hold on to the back of the left leg, squeeze in gently. So this is also where it can be nice to have something under your head, especially if the hips are tight and the legs are, you know, not pulling in as much and you're having to stretch your shoulders out. So maybe your shoulders are tight too, and so it can really pull on your neck. Having a little bit of elevation for the head can help with that. All right, breathing. So we keep trying to witness how we are. So again, really challenging a lot of times to know what we're feeling emotionally, how we're really doing. And we just keep working at it bit by bit. And then looking for where is that connection between the mind and the body. How are my emotions impacting how my body's feeling? Sometimes we can really, you know, hone in on that and release out some tension and pain. Not always, but sometimes. All right, let the foot come down. We're gonna let right foot come up towards the ceiling. Hold the back of the right leg, pull it in gently. Let your right foot rotate around. And that's like a really awesome thing. When, for me, it's kind of luck. When I tap into, you know, an emotion that's causing tension in my body and I can feel that tension release out. It's like, oh, that's awesome. That's a really happy day for me when that happens. All right, legs are coming on down. Stretch about. And it's so fascinating too. I mean, I think that's just part of it for me. It's just this fascination that, wow, you know, these buried emotions are really affecting how I feel physically. It's super interesting. All right, reclining pigeon, left ankle on top of right thigh. And then breathe. Relax your shoulders if you can. And so we can do that both ways, right? We can think about, what are we stressing about? Especially when we're angry and we're ruminating about things, and we've got that argument playing in our head that we're not actually having with somebody, but in our minds we're yelling at them. When you can kind of really, really stop and witness, what those emotions are, and then try to connect that with what you're feeling in your body, or just witness, okay, this is what I'm feeling emotionally, and then maybe you start to feel it in your body, maybe some of that releases out. All right, we're gonna let this side go. We're gonna bring left foot up, put on the back of the left leg. But it can also go the other way. So if you're having some physical pain, and again, this isn't always, sometimes, but if it does happen, again, it's awesome if you can just get like some kind of like instant relief in your body. But you can also do the sort of like, what am I experiencing in my body? Like, why am I having low back pain? Which is pretty typical for me. And some of it you may find, okay, I've been sitting in my desk chair for way too long. All right, let your leg come down. So some of it may just be like, oh, right, I'm not getting up and moving enough. I just get so absorbed in my computer and my work that I'm not getting up, and I need to do that physical movement, arms past your head. But it may be, again, that you kind of link that to something that you're experiencing emotionally. And you may find some of that tension and pain releases out. So just part of the consciousness, awareness practice of yoga is what's that connection between the mind and the body. All right, so we're gonna bring feet onto the floor for bridge pose, arms along your sides. Drop your low back down into the floor. So the tailbone starts to tilt up. We're gonna bring the hips up off the floor. Try to lengthen out your low back, so pulling your hips away from your shoulders. So in these movement practices, right, we're witnessing the sensations in the body. We're witnessing where there's tightness, where there's pain. And so when we don't normally do this in a yoga class of thinking about what that connection is, it can be something that you do just with a single pose. Okay, so I'm in bridge pose here. What am I feeling in this pose? Again, if anything, am I feeling some tightness and tension in my hips? And then, well, how stressful is my life in this moment? Am I trying to figure something out? Am I moving? Am I looking for a job? Is there some big life change? And is that connected to this tension or whatever that you're feeling in this part of the body? And then just trying to hang out here a bit and breathe into. So we don't want to be in pain. We don't want to be in a place that's not healthy for us. But just if you're okay here, no major discomfort. And try to breathe into holding the pose a little bit longer. So trying to stay calm and relaxed as these muscles start to maybe get a little more fatigued feeling. But keeping your breath going. I'm just trying to feel that sense of relaxation, even though your leg muscles are really working here. So trying to create this resilience in our bodies and our nervous systems, that we can be under a little bit of pressure and not get stressed out, not let our nervous systems get stressed out. So trying to balance out this kind of stress on the muscles, but keeping the nervous system calm and relaxed. So that we're trying to train the body to be more resilient. And then just how are you doing? Right? Is that really hard just to be still? Right? You may have a lot more strength. Like I'm not super strong, so you may have way more strength than me, and like be feeling fine in that sort of holding that pose. But it may be difficult for your nervous system to be still for that long. But you want to again witness that. So if you're engaging your muscles and you're doing some work, can the body be still? Okay. Is that a one way that you're able to help calm your nervous system? Is that you're putting in some effort there? It's not complete stillness. So just keep looking for what's going to work for me, what's going to be beneficial. All right, let's pull knees in. Give a little hug in, rock from side to side. And then we're going to try to reach for our feet and hold the feet together, happy baby. And then if that's okay, see if you can separate your feet, knees pulling down. And then we're going to let those feet come on down. Let's let legs lengthen out. One more time. We're going to do arms overhead. Nice big breath. And then bring your right foot up onto the floor. And we're going to roll a little bit, coming into a twist. Rolling towards the left side. Bring your right knee across the left leg. I'm going to keep my foot behind, kind of sort of on behind the left leg, but if you want to bring yours all the way over, if that feels right, you can come into maybe a slightly deeper twist. So I'm going to just keep mine a little more gentle here in this twist. And then how's your right arm, your right shoulder? Where are you going to place that arm? And then can you soften here? Come back to the middle. Nice and easy. So again, maybe we're just going to let your low back drop onto the floor here, or maybe you're going to pull your knees in. And if it feels nice to do a happy baby here, grab your feet. Let your feet come on down. So we're going to straighten out right leg. We're going to have left foot on the floor. So I tend to kind of like pick my hips up and roll a little bit onto like the outer right hip here, and then bring my left knee across. So arms about shoulder height. Where are you going to keep that left foot? Is it going to be on or behind the leg, or are you going to bring it over? Where's your spot? And then where are you going to position? Arm, how's your shoulder? Can you breathe and soften here? And then gently come back to the middle. And pulling the knees in. And then if you're doing happy baby, grab your feet. Yeah, what's more, witnessing. How are you in this moment? So what's calming for one person might be agitating for another, and vice versa. We just keep trying to explore, adapt, figuring out what's going to be beneficial in the present moment. Right? We live so much in the past and so much in the future. This is what my body used to do. This is what I want to do with my life. And we don't spend enough time, I'll speak for myself, in the present moment, just really enjoying and trying to find this balance. Okay, coming on out onto hands and knees. So spread your fingers out, line your wrists up, curl your toes under, bring your knees up, come into a downward facing dog. Let your head drop down, and then how's this? This is not feeling great for me today. I like when down dog feels good, because it's a great stretch of my upper back. But today that's not great for me. I'm gonna come into a standing forward fold. I so wanted that to feel good today, right? And so trying to accept where we are is really hard too, right? So if we're ill, which I have, been struggling this past year with pain and vertigo. All right, if you're not up, come all the way up. Your arms up overhead, hands come together. And so then again, right, we're trying to get to that healed state, get to that well state. And so we cause ourselves a little more suffering. We're trying to accept where we are in this present moment. Okay, we're going to take it into a chair and then into kind of a sun salute. So inhale, arms up overhead, feet are lined up. We're going to sit back into a chair pose. All right, I got to lift up a little bit more. My knees were hurting there. So again, you're just going to adjust. I find folding forward a little bit more is often helpful with knees. I think it helps you push your knees back a little farther. So if you're having some knee trouble, maybe just kind of folding it a little lower here. All right, all the way into forward fold, hands come down. Inhale into half lift, pull the chest forward. Exhale, fold in. So we're gonna take it back to down dog. Fingers are spread out wide. You might not be able to get flat on your hands here, that's fine. Just trying to stay on your fingertips. And so again, things are tight. You're just gonna take a whole lot of little baby steps back until you can get into a downward facing dog. Give a little push back here. Come forward into plank. I'm finding I have to use my knees to protect my elbow. So use your knees if you need more support for your arms. And then flatten out. So forehead towards your mat, hands below your shoulders. Start to push your shoulders up towards the ceiling. So your shoulder blades are going up towards the ceiling. And then press into your hands. Pull the chest forward, shoulders back. And then we're gonna look to the right, pulling that right shoulder back. Then we're gonna come through center, pull the shoulders down, look to the left, come back to center, breath. And then we're gonna press into child's pose or into downward facing dog. Breathe. And all of your stress out. All right, I'm just gonna use blocks because I have them here. We're gonna bring it into a low lunge with the right foot forward. So blocks, if you have them, you can find them, obviously online. A lot of times discount stores, like something like TJ Maxx, Marshalls, Ross, those kinds of things have Target. You can find some yoga blocks. So they can help if hips are tight to bring that right foot forward. We're going to try to lengthen out the left leg, breathing. And now we're going to bring it up into a warrior one. So again, blocks can be helpful here, but if you don't have them, you're just having your hands on the floor. We're going to curl the back toes under. We're going to bring that back knee up. Step your back foot forward a little bit. Plant it flat on the floor. It's going to turn out a little bit to the left. We're coming up into a warrior one. Arms are coming on up. Shoulders are down. Then we're going to turn into warrior two. Try to let your shoulders drop down. I'm going to shift my back foot a little bit more. So front foot's pointing towards the short edge of the mat. Front knees bending. I'm going to press the back foot into the floor. Arms at shoulder height, shoulders down. So I want to hold here for a little bit, but I can already feel this leg is fatiguing quickly here. And I know for me, shoulders, having my arms up can start to really stress out my shoulders pretty quickly. So I'm going to bring my hands down and breathe. So feel free to adapt and adjust any way that you need to. If you need to straighten your leg, you're going to straighten it. But if we can hang out here for a few breaths, just like we did in bridge pose, just let that breath just be nice and deep. So legs are working. We've got our feet pushing into the floor. And we want to use that breath to try to maintain this sense of calm in the nervous system. And what we're looking to witness, amongst other things, right? How is everything feeling? But is this sense of, so is this exhausting, right? Is exerting the muscles, is this exhausting? And so if so, this may not be your ideal practice. But if you're in more of a fight or flight, an excess energy, anxious, is this working for you? Is this effort of the muscles, is this helping you to release out some of that uncomfortable excess energy? Is it helping you to calm a little bit? All right, one more breath. And then let's see where we're going to take it. We're going to take it back to the floor. All right, so let's straighten out that front leg. We'll give it a little break. So if you have your blocks, again, you're going to come onto your blocks. Otherwise, I'm going to assume most of you don't have blocks. We're going to let hands come down to the floor. We're going to lean over the front leg. Get a little stretch there, low back, leg. And then turn your back foot forward. Let's hop up into a forward fold. I think that'll be easier. So bring your back foot forward again, however many steps that takes. Line your feet up. Take a breath in forward fold. We're going to come into half lift. Pull the chest forward. And exhale. Fold in. Bend your knees. Walk your feet back to downward facing dog. And then we're going to come into high plank. If you're using knees come down. Ease your way down. Lengthen out legs. So you got forehead down, hands below your shoulders. Press your shoulder blades up towards the ceiling. And then press into your hands, come into your back bend. We'll look to your right, pull that right shoulder blade back. Come back to center, pull both shoulder blades back. And then to your left. Back to the middle. And pressing into down dog or child's pose. Take a few breaths. So then we're doing a lunge on the other side. We're going to bring left foot forward. So again, if you're using blocks, it can make it a little bit easier to bring that foot up. But you can also swing your foot out. Walk it in. All right, so now we're stretching out right leg. Breathing. So back toes curl under, knee comes up. We're going to plant that back foot flat on the floor. Left knee's bending. All right, I'm going to turn the other way. Stay where you are. I'm turning. I'm changing directions. All right, so left foot's forward, bending in that left knee. Arms up, warrior one, breath. And then we're going to turn it out into warrior two. So again, back foot might need to move a little bit. Front knee's bending. We're going to try to feel feet pushing down onto the floor. So if you're okay with arms up, arms could be up. Otherwise, you can have hands on your hips. And again, breathe. Witness. All right, we held the other side for quite a while. So let's see if we can get some semblance of matching that length of time. So we're going to keep the breath going. And again, you want to witness, how is this? Is it exhausting? So that's where you might be in that dorsal vagal, that shutdown, that freeze state of the nervous system. And we're not judging that, we're just really witnessing it. So again, so we have some kind of consciousness of how we're doing and how do we take care of ourselves. Or again, you're in the stressed out mode. So is this hard? So even if you've got a lot of extra energy, it might be hard just to be still. But if you focus on your breath, is this working for you or is it not? Is really the question. So this is where you could do, right? Adding in a little extra movement if you need to. And then how is that? Is it helpful to move? So that you can have some of this sort of static and movement at the same time. So what brings peace into the mind, into the body? All right, we're going to straighten out the left leg. We're just going to fold over the left leg. And then let's do a wide leg fold. So either come all the way up, or maybe you can just pivot, turning both feet towards the long side of the mat and fold into wherever your spot is. Breathe out. And then we're going to work our way back up into a standing position. All right, so just stand up, feel your feet on the floor. And then let's see if we can do a tree pose. So I'm going to come off my mat here just to be a little bit flatter on the floor. You want to feel both feet on the floor, engage your legs, lift up, and then bringing one foot up. So right, so you're engaging legs, shifting weight onto one foot, bringing the other foot up. And then where is it going? Is it going to stay low on the floor with just your heel up, or are you going to bring the foot to the lower leg, or will it come all the way up on the thigh? And then where are our hands? At the heart or overhead. And then how is it to balance? Some days I have no balance. So again, we're trying to witness, how is this for me? Just a balancing pose like tree pose. Does it help me to calm at all? Because it does take some focus mentally. All right, yeah, I'm losing it. All right, we're gonna come on down. Take a breath. And then again, just tighten up the legs, shift your weight onto that second foot. And then where's this? Nope, not happening. Where is this raised foot going? this side. Yeah, take a breath, and then we're just gonna sit down. We're gonna take it right into Shavasana. So just coming on down. You can sit, or you can stretch out on your back. Put a block underneath my head again. So coming back into the breath, looking for how you're comfortable. Feeling the breath flow in and out. Feeling your body supported by the floor. And just observing what parts of the body are in contact with the floor. Observe any sounds in the room. Any sounds outside the room. Again, conscious of where you are in the room. Where you are in the building. Reminding your nervous system that you're in a safe, supportive place. deep breath. Maybe move your wrists and your fingers. You turn your head from side to side. Maybe stretch your arms past your head. And bend your knees and roll to one side. And slowly make your way into a seated position. Bring your hands to your heart. So just imagine that light within you. Maybe with your eyes closed, maybe with them open. Try to just imagine yourself as this glowing light. Take a moment just to acknowledge the light, the love within you. Your inner strength and wisdom. Thank you for sharing in this practice today. Namaste.